Okay, hello, welcome to another video. Savalian here, a software dev slash creative, but today I'm going to be doing something that is neither software nor creativity related. I'm doing a little dietary experiment. So in the past, I think I've even made a video about it before, but in the past I've done tests of different like meal replacement shake, different meal services like delivery services, planning services. I've done a lot of stuff around food prep because I hate cooking. You're not going to convince me to like cooking. The less I have to cook and the less I have to think about food, the better. And so I recently got an email about a study that was done on Huel, which has a bad name. It's not a good name, but it is a good food in my opinion. But the study basically was, some amount of people only had Huel for some number of weeks. I think it was 6 weeks. And if you haven't heard of it before, Huel is basically a powder. It's like Soylent. It's made out of mostly oats and peas, I think, with like vitamins mixed in. But it is actually a complete food. Like, you can eat it indefinitely and you will be nourished. Your body will have the vitamins it needs and the macronutrients and stuff. So this week I am only having Huel. So this was my breakfast. It's almost done. I prefer the black edition because it's higher in protein. I like to have that extra protein. But they also have the regular formula is just a little bit higher in carbs. It has a lot more flavors than the black edition does. But in general, it tastes very sort of bland and oaty. And I like to mix a little bit of Crystal Light, just like water flavoring juice, basically. So that's why it's like a little bit pink. I'm gonna track all of my food, my intake. I'm gonna try to keep my calories around like a normal intake. Like, I'm not going to do a dramatic cut, maybe a little bit of a cut just while I can. But for the most part, this experiment is going to be about switching from solid, like chewable foods to mostly shakes. And by mostly, I mean completely shakes. The only things I'm going to be having that aren't Huel is like black coffee and maybe some tea. And that's going to be probably mostly in the morning. So that's the plan. We've already started. Today's Monday, October 3rd, so I will be done Sunday night, and then next Monday I'll go back to eating normally, which I did normally have Huel for lunches a lot, so it's not the biggest change in the world. But I'm going to be tracking how I'm feeling throughout the day, especially these first couple days as I sort of make this shift cold turkey, and report back on basically whether I would recommend people do this or who I would recommend do this and how I'm feeling. So just a note, I am not a doctor. I have not done any sort of blood tests or anything to determine how healthy I am before or after this experiment. So this is just a personal sort of look, and it's all very subjective based on how I'm feeling. It's not science. All right, here we go. Okay, we're starting day 2 of the Huel experiment. It's been fine. I have noticed that I do need to have many meals to get enough calories, and I'm not even getting enough. Like if I was trying to really maintain or even gain weight, I would need to eat a lot more than I am right now, and that's a lot of Huel. I wonder if I could do add something calorie dense like peanut butter if I wanted to do this long term, which I probably won't. But that would definitely be something to think about, which is that when I'm having like 4 meals a day, that's 1600 calories. That's about, that's a bit low for me, but it's about it's as close as you can get without overdoing it. And that's a significant amount of Huel every day. In general, I'm feeling fine. I didn't feel hungry last night at all. I did have the hot and savory Huel for dinner, which does have a little bit of pasta in it. I'll probably do a day or two at least of just the shake version all day, so we'll see how that feels as well. But Right now I'm just having some coffee flavor Huel. It's actually the last that I had. I didn't order more. So that bag is actually empty. I've thrown it out. And I just have to do my work now. My normal work. And then at some point I will have lunch. Today is Thursday, so we're on day 4 of only eating Huel. I'm starting to question a little bit why I did this, but that's probably normal. Overall, I feel fine. I have energy. I'm a little tired, but that's because I haven't been sleeping well. I've been at a pretty big calorie deficit most of this week, which is okay. I wouldn't want to continue this forever, but for now I think it's fine. I think if someone wanted to do like a full Huel sort of diet, they would need either to add something a little bit more calorie dense, I don't know, like oil or bread or something, or they would just need to have a lot of it, just like all day, big jugs of Huel. Because I do this, this one can comfortably hold 2 scoops, which is about 400 calories, 3 scoops for 600 calories in here. It gets a little bit clumpy, it gets a little bit hard to mix, so I guess it just depends on how frequently you're willing to reshake the Huel. But I feel fine. I have been getting headaches at night, which I suspect are because of the fact that I was eating quite a bit of sugar and then I just stopped. This has very little sugar in it, and I've been known to go through sugar withdrawals. So I think that's why. Otherwise, I mean, the headaches could be literally anything, honestly. I get headaches all the time. So in general, feeling great. I do have those headaches. My stomach feels fine. Nothing to really complain about, except for the fact that I want delicious desserts and, you know, savory foods, and they don't quite have a range of flavors that covers everything that you might want to eat. The hot and savory ones I've been having are pretty good, but just flavor-wise, I have a hard time believing that anyone's just going to be totally fine with all Huel and nothing else, because it tastes very similar, the different flavors, most of them anyway. So that's my update for today. I'm still going. We'll go till Sunday night, and then I'll wrap things up. So I will check in again later. It is now Monday morning, the day after I have finished my Huel for a week experiment. I haven't had anything to eat yet, so I'm still, I'm feeling, today's just a day like any of the previous 7 days, and I'm feeling fine. Honestly, I don't feel hungry. I don't feel particularly tired. I'm a little tired just because I've been bad at sleeping since before the experiment. The experiment didn't make it worse or better. So that's one thing that has not changed. But in general, I'm feeling good. One thing I did forget to mention, which I'm remembering now as I'm downstairs feeding the cats, is that on Friday, I felt pretty bad. I had a really bad headache. I felt a little bit weird in the stomach, and this could have been unrelated, as with anything. It could have been because I also basically quit sugar, and that is not, the body doesn't like that. The body gets upset, it throws a little tantrum. So it could have been that. It could have been because I wasn't eating enough, which I've already mentioned was a problem for me. But I just wanted to mention it because it did happen, and it may be relevant. So back to the result recap. And now I'm going to talk about sort of the results and the pros and cons of a Huel focused diet. One thing I did notice this morning, which may not be related, is that my skin looks better. I've been having an issue with acne for several months, maybe years at this point, and I noticed that I don't have any zits, which is cool. Again, I don't know if that's related. It could be the increased water I've been drinking, since you have to mix the Huel with water. It could be just having the nutrients that my skin needs to, I don't know, do what it does. Or it could be a coincidence. It's just something I noticed. I did also, I wasn't doing this as a weight loss thing or a weight gain thing, but I did lose almost 2 pounds. And this is not a surprise because, as I mentioned throughout the week, it was very hard to consume the amount of calories that I need to maintain my weight, which is a notable thing. And it should be like a word of caution to people who are larger than I am, anyone who is larger than me who needs more calories as a baseline. And it can be really hard with both the volume of the Huel in the water, and then also just it's more expensive to eat more food. But that's going to be the same across the board, whether you're eating Huel or you're making eggs or whatever. I don't know. I picked eggs because I'm having eggs for breakfast and I'm so excited. My resting heart rate did go down, which it usually does whenever I suddenly start eating a lot better. I usually see a reduction in resting heart rate, which my Fitbit tracks for me. I don't track that myself. It went from about 83, which is high, but it's normal for me. I've never had a very rested heart, but it went from 83 down to about 79. I have no idea if that will stay there or if it'll go back up as I start eating more sugar again. I believe it is related to sugar intake, but I could be wrong. Obviously, I am not a medical professional. I'm just a person who does things and pays attention to how her own body reacts. And so the things I'm saying are just for fun. They're just for fun and for maybe to inspire you to look into some of this stuff for yourself. So I would say the biggest con, well, there's two cons. One is the obvious one. It's a little bit boring, a little bit restrictive. It makes you feel like you're missing out when other people are eating stuff that is not Huel. We've done things before where one of us was eating something and the other one wasn't, so it wasn't too hard. That being said, deciding what to eat was so easy. I did have a variety of Huel flavors, so I had 2 of the hot and savory Huel flavors. So those ones you actually put boiling water in. There's little bits of like pasta and like freeze-dried vegetables and stuff. And so that helped a lot because I found that for dinner, I just needed something hot. Like it was so, I did one day, I did have the cold meal shake for dinner, and it was fine. Honestly, it was fine. But having that hot like mac and cheese flavor or the Cajun pasta, those were the 2 flavors I had. It just brightened everything up a little bit, and it helped break up the monotony of only having cold meal shakes, even though it was almost the same thing. The pasta bits and stuff are fairly small, and then most of it is just nutrient slop, but it's just hot and savory instead of kind of sweet. So having different flavors, both of the meal shake and then also having those 2 hot and savory ones, really helped. But it was still so easy to decide what I wanted because I only had, instead of the option of everything that I could potentially buy from the grocery store, I've just got something from one of these 5 bags of powder. I love that. I love not having to make decisions. I love not having to build a grocery list. I love not having to cook. So that aspect of the experiment was a huge success. I love that. So according to the meal tracking, even though I was at a really significant, about 1,000 calorie deficit every day this week, I still got 100% of the recommended daily vitamins for my body. So if you are looking for something that is very densely, nutrient dense, packed with nutrients, if you're trying to lose weight, this could be an excellent option. Like I mentioned, if you are not trying to lose weight and you are someone who needs more than like 1,400 or 1,600 calories a day to maintain, which is probably going to be most men, anyone taller than me, anyone, larger, has more body mass than me, you're going to struggle a little bit to get the amount of calories you need. It still might be a great option though. If you are someone who just doesn't want to think about it, if you want to know you're getting the nutrients that your body needs in the long term, even just maybe 1 or 2 Huels a day, and then you have a hot dinner. That's what I was kind of doing before this experiment, though I wouldn't always have it for lunch. I would just sometimes have it for lunch. And if I haven't mentioned, this is not sponsored. It would probably be kind of nice if Huel would sponsor me because I give them a lot of my money buying Huel. But no, this is just a product I use. I know that they do sponsorships. I've seen them on YouTube, but this is not one of them. I think that's it. So that's kind of the wrap up. I know there wasn't like a clean, yes, do this, no, don't do this. And unfortunately, that's how health advice, how fitness advice is gonna have to go, because I'm different than you, probably, in most cases. I guess I don't know who you are exactly as you're watching this, but the chances that we're exactly the same in everything we do is very low. So because of that, I can't say like, oh sure, go ahead, try it, it's gonna be great. It may not be great. But I think if you look at what I've laid out here, if you take a look at yourself and your needs, hopefully you should be able to figure out if Huel is something that you want to work into your routine. I've had it on hand for a couple of years now. I've been eating it, semi-regularly, and I'm just going to keep doing that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was useful to you, and I will be back soon with another video. I think this next one's going to be a dev vlog, so stay tuned. Alright, I hope you have a good day. Bye 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 bye.